Good morning. This morning I would like to talk about death. I received 2 letters which are about the subject, each letter in its own way. And I would like to start with the first letter. I will read out the letter and then I will say a few things about it. Beloved Michael, my life is upside down. I'm deeply moved by the death of my partner, husband and best friend. My beloved fell asleep on March 8, 2023 at 23:08. I am in mourning. I live on. And I'm open to a new beginning. A real new beginning, you know. I was by his side in the hospice until shortly before he died. And I left the room 2 hours before his last breath, so he could die easier. For almost 52 years, I was always there for others first. How can I use this event to be there just for me? First and foremost for myself. Do you have any recommendations for me on how I can make the most out of this painful experience? I would really like to put my life on a new foundation. Just like Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. So love myself first and be there for myself and then for other people. I practiced the Samaphan meditation for 30 minutes for the first time this morning. And I'll do it again tomorrow morning. I'm already looking forward to it. I'm ready for the big or small switch towards myself, to the me that I am, and to the reason why I am here on earth actually. Ever since it became clear that he was going to die, I have only prayed this sentence: Dear God, your will be done. And so it is today. The meditation will help me, and I'm sure your answers will too. Thank you for your letter. I'm very touched. I would like to talk about 2 aspects of death. 2 aspects of what we are experiencing when somebody close to us is dying. And the first aspects are all these feelings we feel. The mourning, the sadness, maybe the shock. But this has nothing to do with death, actually. It has to do with change, with loss. There's somebody we deeply love, and then this person is not there anymore. We lost something, and that's painful. And then there's another side to it, and that's the side which is really about death. It's inspiring. It's liberating. It is as if a door opens and gives us opportunities. And that's what you feel. Usually we don't feel this second aspect. Usually we don't feel death. We feel the loss. But when we manage to deal with the loss, when we manage to feel our feelings, when we make peace with the feelings and the change which happened in our life, then we can embrace death. And that's a gift. That's inspiring. And I read this out of your letter in such a beautiful way. It's as if death gives us an opportunity, a possibility which was not there before. It is as if death reminds us about something which we had forgotten, but now we remember somehow vaguely inside of ourselves. You write that you want to put your life onto a new foundation. You say that you want to have a new beginning, a real new beginning. Yes. But what does this mean? Usually, we think about living our life in a new way. Some people change their clothes when something like this happened. Some people move house. Some people change jobs because they realize they want things to be different. You realize you want to take care of yourself and not neglect yourself and be there for everybody else as you did up to now in your life. But this is not a new beginning. This is adjusting the old. It's not bad, nothing wrong with it. It's very, very good when you start turning towards yourself and take care of yourself instead of others. But the opportunity you have here is much, much bigger than that. You want a new life. Yeah. Start a completely new life. What do I mean by that? Normally, we live this life as somebody. We are totally convinced that I am this body. I'm Michael, I'm a man, I live this life, this is my profession, this is what I do, this is how I look like, this is how I feel, this is what I want. All these things is what I perceive as me, and then I have this life in this world, with these circumstances, with these people around me. And then comes death. And death reminds us in a totally inspiring way, hey, remember, this is not it. Remember, very soon this is over. What then? My suggestion to you is to die yourself now. Not the body. I'm not talking about killing the body. Yeah. Let this old life die and discover who you really are. Discover that, what comes after death. Discover that what was before birth. But don't wait until your body dies. Discover it now. That's the invitation death brings. This is this opportunity death brings. Discover it now. Start a new life now. Not a new life as a human being. Your life as a human being will just continue with minor changes here and there. No, but you discover who you truly are, and then start a new life as a soul, as God. You say you want to live that life, you want to do what this is really about, why you really came into this life. That's it. Yeah, we play a really interesting game as human beings. It's like we are God, we are our soul, and then we are born into this life. We forget everything else. The only thing we remember after a while is what we see, what we hear, what we can touch, what we think. And then the task is to rediscover that what we were before death, what we still are, what we were before birth. That's what I meant to say. And what we still are, but we can't remember because these life experiences are so intense and the other is so subtle. And we have to find this out while we are in the body, while we are a human being. We have to find this out before the body dies. That's the game we are playing. And usually we are unable to score in this game, so to speak, because we don't remember. We don't remember at all. We totally get lost in this amazing life experience with all its drama and difficulties and tragedies. We take it totally serious and we have no clue that this is not why we are here. But then death comes to a beloved. We are still alive, but we are being reminded, whoa, wait a moment. What is this? Yeah, you are touched by this inspiration, which you don't really understand what it's telling you. But you're being touched by something new. You know something has to change. I need to start a new life. This is not it. And you're right. Your inclination points exactly into the right direction. So don't change your old life. Leave life as it is. It's fine. Yes, there are things you can learn, and you will continue to learn, and you will continue to change your life and make it better and better. But the inspiration you feel is, just as you wrote it, a real new beginning, a completely new life. Jesus talked about rebirth. Yeah, he said, dying and being reborn. And what he was talking about is exactly that. He didn't talk about the death of the body and then being reborn in some imaginary heaven, in some other world. No. Jesus always talked really practical, totally down to earth. But nobody could imagine that that's what he meant. It's like, you are alive, you are in this body, you are in this life. Now, while you are alive, you are dying. This identity, this false identity dies. Your ego dies. Your belief, this is my life, this is it, this is me, that belief dies. And you discover who you truly are. That's the rebirth. While you're still alive, the body is still alive, yeah. And that's the task of this life. That's what Jesus was talking about. And they misunderstood him, and that's why everybody misunderstood the crucifixion of Jesus. When somehow he survived this crucifixion. But he was not talking about that you die, the body dies, and then you get a new body and you're being reborn and walk around as somebody else. He was talking about being reborn as the son or the daughter of God while you are alive. And then, when you discover who you truly are, then you're in heaven. That's the job we have to do. That's the game, so to speak. That's the real new beginning. And what helps you with this is the meditation. Yeah, we cannot do this directly. This is not an intellectual task. This is not something we can imagine or, create through confirmations or whatnot. No. We have to let go. We have to let go and just meditate. And through this, slowly, it's a process. It takes a little bit of time. We discover our true nature. We discover that what we truly are inside of ourselves. Just by meditating half an hour every day. It looks totally unspectacular, yeah. Especially when you experience something drastic like you experienced with the death of your beloved. We want to change things. We want to change ourselves. We want to change our life in one way or another. But the real change happens very, very uneventful. You can leave everything the way it is. You just meditate. And it feels like you're not doing anything. And it's true, you don't do anything. If you really meditate, you just sit there every morning for half an hour. Maybe once a week or once a month, you join a meditation group and meditate with others. So it looks like you're not changing anything, you're not doing anything. But you are promoting the one change which this life is all about. That's why most people miss this, because it's so quiet, it's so unspectacular in the beginning. That's your opportunity. That's the gift of what you're experiencing right now. That you can now see this opportunity. Every human being has this opportunity. But most human beings don't see it. They don't know it. They don't think it's worth anything, and that's why they overlook it. But you, by the death of your partner, you have been touched by the grace of death. This reminder. And now you can seize this opportunity. Thank you for your letter. And you sent me this photo with you and your beloved while he was still alive. And I want to tell you that this is such a beautiful picture. It touches me deeply. Thank you. And I received a second letter where it is also about death, but in a completely different way. And I will read now this second letter. Dear Michael, I was guided to you a few months ago. The way you are and the way you speak immediately touched me deeply. I feel such an intimacy and depth when I listen to you. I am simply grateful for it. My life has been completely turned upside down from one day to the next. Our son Michael left his life voluntarily at the age of 24. It was an unspeakable and incomprehensible shock for us and for everyone else. It has been 8 months now, but I feel like it happened yesterday. No one would have ever thought that this could happen. He was newly in love, had his own cozy apartment, a good job and friends. But he was in a state of emergency when this happened. After a birthday party, he had an accident with his beloved car, followed by a chain of circumstances that are unbelievable. At this point, my husband and I and our daughter were deeply distraught because he could no longer be found. He left us a farewell letter written in perfect love. He also wrote that he didn't know why he was doing this himself, but he was sure of it. He mentioned several times that we should forgive him and that no one should blame themselves. After 10 days of worrying and hoping and doubting, we got the certainty. It is indescribable to put it into words what you experience. I still find it very difficult to write about it now. In the beginning, there were huge feelings of guilt that my husband and me pushed back and forth between us. But deep down, I know that we didn't do anything wrong. But on a worldly level, as apparent parents, it feels different. I ask myself every day what this means, or what this is trying to tell us. The Samarpan meditation, which I have been doing every morning for 2 months now, helps me a lot. It is my only opportunity to simply surrender. At the beginning, there are often a lot of thoughts and feelings, but it gets easier and easier. Thank you very much for this, dear Michael. Perhaps you have a few words for me and for us. My husband has become much more open to spirituality since then, and our daughter was it anyway. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for your letter. I'm deeply touched. You thank me for the Samarpan meditation, but this is not my gift. My guru, Swamiji, he brings this meditation from the Himalayas to us into society. And I'm merely talking about it because it's the best thing I have come across in my entire life. And I'm happy to share about it and to bring it to you. But the gratitude belongs to Swamiji. Yes, in my answer to the first letter, I was talking about these two aspects of what's happening when you are being touched by death. There are your feelings. The feeling of shock, sadness, but also the feeling of not having control over this life, the feeling of helplessness. This feeling that what you thought your life is not your life anymore. This change. And it's very helpful and very important to welcome all of these feelings. Not at once, just welcome the one feeling which is there for you right now, in your face, so to speak. And these feelings change all the time. Invite what's here right now, quietly, silently, inside of yourself, as well as you can. This will help you tremendously. One can have the experience that when something like this happens, it's like you don't know who you are anymore. It's like life seems unreal all of a sudden. And when you start welcoming these feelings, not that they go away, but that they can be here. Yeah, you welcome these feelings deeper inside of you. One by one. Lovingly. As if you are their mother. As if each of these feelings, the sadness, the pain, the agony, the despair, as if these feelings, each of them is your beloved. Let them come. And this will bring you back to yourself. This will bring you back to the ground. More and more, slowly, slowly. It's a slow process. This happened 8 months ago, and so it's still very fresh. It's still very strong. So this is helpful. Don't talk about the feelings. You can do if you want, but it doesn't really help. What helps is feel them inside of you. It's a very intimate, very private matter. This will bring you back onto your ground. And then you ask, what is this trying to tell us? What is this trying to tell me? Why is this happening? And that's the second aspect. This is the aspect I was talking earlier about. This is death. What is death telling me here? Normally, as human beings, we live our life and we have no idea about death. I mean, we know that death is coming, but we ignore this. We live as if there is no death. We live as if this life is going on forever. That's how everybody lives. And when somebody dies, it's a tragedy for us. We act as if something happens which shouldn't happen. But in reality, death is the only certain thing in life. Yeah? You will die. Soon. Maybe another 20, 30, 40, 50 or 60 years. And you will be dead. Your husband, he will die. Your daughter, she will die. I will die. This body will die. Soon. Maybe another 40 years, 50 years, if I'm very lucky here. Maybe only 10, maybe only 4, who knows? But we ignore this. And when death comes into your life while you are alive, this is an amazing gift. She tips you on the shoulder and says, listen, wake up, remember. Remember where you came from. Remember where you will go when I come. Remember now. And you can feel this inside of yourself. First you have to make friends with all these aspects which have nothing to do with death, actually. They just have to do with the loss, with the sudden change in your life. But when you make friends with this and when you become more quiet, then you can feel death in you. And it's such a gift. When you can feel this, then you know, wow, this life is precious. This life is amazing. I have to use it before it's too late. And then you ask yourself for the first time in your life, why am I here? What is this about? You feel the message of death. You feel this is precious, but you don't know why. You forgot. And now for the first time in your life, you want to know. And that's why you're here. That's the gift of death. And the reason why we come into this life is very simple. You may have heard it before, that you are not this body. You are not that me you think you are. You are not your thoughts and your wishes, your feelings, your dreams. All of these things will be gone when you die. When your body dies, all of this is gone. Nothing of this is left. And before you were born, nothing of that was here. Now the challenge is to remember what was there before you were born. That which is here now and which will be here after your body will be dead. That's your true identity. And we come into this life, into these bodies. This is our game we play, because only by rediscovering, it's like when we are being born, it's like we leave home, this home where we are, the way we are, where we are, what we are, a soul, God. But we can't experience ourselves. We can't see ourselves. You have to have a distance to something in order to look at it, in order to recognize it. It's like you need a mirror. Otherwise, you have no idea. And so we leave ourselves. We are being born. When we are being born, we completely forget who we are, because only then can we find ourselves. That's the game we are playing. And these bodies, this life, allows us to experience this discovery. That's why we are in the body. That's the game we are playing. And then, once we discover it, this life which normal people take so serious, this outward life, becomes completely unimportant for us. It becomes beautiful for us and lovely, and we are grateful, and we love to live, but it's not important anymore because we achieved what we came here for. It's like we die before we die. Birth is forgetting, and death is remembering. I like the word remember. The members which are being split apart are rejoined. We come back to who we really are. That's death. The door back home. And when we die while we are in a body, when we die while we are still alive in a body, then we can remember, then we can experience who I am. For us to experience this, we need the body. That's the magic of this life. That's the amazing gift of this life. That's why we created all of this here. This is a mirror, so we can find ourselves. We create this mirror, we get totally lost in this mirror. Otherwise the game is not interesting, the game doesn't work. And then something happens. In some life, something happens which helps us to remember. And that's what's happening in your life right now. Death comes to you totally lovingly and says, hey, remember now. Remember, in this life you wanted to remember while you were alive. Now do it. That's the opportunity. That's the gift of death. To die while you're alive. When I say you die, I don't mean to kill the body. You understand this, right? This belief in this illusion, that dies. This ego, oh, I am that dies. Through this discovery of your true identity. And then a new life, a second life, the actual life starts. That's what Jesus was talking about, yeah? The rebirth. I don't know whether I mentioned it before. Yeah. This being born again, Jesus was talking about, is not the body dying and then the body becoming alive again. He was not talking about this at all. What he was talking about is, first you're being born in a body, but then this identity will die and you will be reborn as a soul while you're alive. He describes the purpose of this life. And then you are in heaven. Yeah? The Christians completely misunderstood this because they just don't know. Jesus was not talking about the body dies, and then if you did everything right, then you will come to heaven. No. He said, you're being born as a human being, and you are here as a human being to die while you're alive. To recognize who you really are. This is the real birth. And with this comes heaven. Then you're back home in God, while you are alive, while you are in the body. And why? Because you are still in the body, you can experience it. You can recognize it. And that's why death is your friend and your guide. And an amazing opportunity. Not the death of your body, death itself. And when you read, when you discover, when you remember what you really are, then when the body dies, becomes unimportant. It's an interesting phenomenon. I experience it myself like this. When you remember who you are, death has no meaning anymore. You already died. It is totally unimportant when this physical body will die. And at the same time, I enjoy life more than ever before. The body became unimportant. I don't need it anymore. And yet, I love it more than ever and I enjoy this life more than ever. Yeah. And then you can enjoy this life because you're already in heaven. It's a really funny game we are playing. And with this recognition, the Samapan meditation helps you. That's what this meditation is made for. This recognition is nothing intellectual. Yeah, it's not something you think about. It's nothing you can hear from somebody and then you nod your head and say, yeah, he's right, I'm sure it is like this. This doesn't help. Yeah. No, you have to discover it for yourself, but you can't do it. It comes indirectly. And the path to this is the Samapan meditation. That's why this meditation is such a tremendous gift, because it helps you achieve that one task we have in this life. And it works. I can attest. Yeah, and as I just said, when you begin to realize who you really are, yeah, when this old false identity is dying, then death is irrelevant. And then you already are where you will be when the body is dead. And the death of your son will have no meaning, no negative meaning for you anymore. Because you understood death by experience. So 2 things are important for you. Make friends with your feelings. Come down to the ground. Come into this life, into your body. Feel your feelings. Don't jump over anything there. And at the same time, meditate. Yeah, both are important. The meditation will help you to get grounded in yourself, and at the same time, it will promote this awareness of your soul. It will promote this awareness of who you really are. It will connect you with your real life. But for this process to happen in a good and natural way, it's important that you are here, that you don't go into fantasies and stuff, but just the opposite. Feel your feelings, be here. Embrace life as it is for you right now. Say yes to everything in your life. It's so beautiful how you write this in your letter, that the meditation is the only time where you can truly surrender. Yes. The meditation helps you surrender. And then you learn to surrender towards your feelings, towards the facts of life. You can say yes that your son is not here anymore. You can say yes to all the feelings which come. You can say yes to the state you are in. And through this surrender, which you are learning through the meditation, this old false identity is crumbling away. And the soul in you becomes more and more tangible for you. More and more. And sometimes you don't even notice what an amazing shift is happening inside yourself, because it's happening so slowly. But more and more, you are not identified anymore with this life, which was so important and the only real thing for you just a few years before. Your son left his body and he died before he could realize this. He will have his opportunity. You don't have to worry at all about him. Yeah. Take care of yourself. Take care of you using this life as well as you can. You know, there's an amazing fact about how life operates, which I find really stunning. Everything which happens in life is for the benefit of everybody involved. I noticed this when I was a teenager. I always wondered, I had the feeling that this entire life was tailor-made for me. I had my tragedies in my life. I had beautiful things. I had painful things, tragic things. But somehow, as I went through life, as I experienced everything, again and again, I experienced so many miracles. And I saw that the way life operates seems to be tailor-made just for me. So I can take my path as if this whole world is only created for me. And it's true. It really is like this. And it's like your son died for your benefit. And for the benefit of your husband. Yeah. I experienced it in satsang. I was with my master Soham, with my spiritual master. 20 years I was in satsang with him almost every day and working for him there. And so many people came to him because of events like the one you experienced. Tragedies. Their life got turned upside down. They came into situations they could not handle. And they asked Soham, why does this happen? And he asked them, would you be here without that event? No. It happens in the lives of people so they can wake up now. It's an amazing opportunity. But at the same time, it's the best for everybody else as well. It's also the best for your son. He could not discover this in this life. But you can be absolutely certain that it was the best for him too, for his path towards this goal. You are blessed, you know. Your son is blessed too. Now use this blessing, use this opportunity. Turn towards that what is really important. Meditate every day. Rest with your attention here as much as you can and live your life. And that, what I was talking about in this video, and in all of my videos, of course, that will happen. It's natural. It's you don't have to wait for a miracle. Yeah. Jesus said this, when you put God first in your life, that's what he meant. When you put your attention into the direction of God, this is the direction, the true inside. When you do this, it's a practical advice. It's totally practical. It's nothing spiritual what he was talking about. He was talking totally directly. What you should do with your attention, what you should take important in your life. When you do this one thing, the whole rest happens by itself. Not because you wait for a miracle. No, it's natural. It just is just how it works. You can be certain of it. You know, Jesus was talking with such certainty because he knew. I'm talking with absolute certainty because I know. I'm experiencing it. Yeah. And you will too. This is not a game where we try and we hope that somebody will think that we did everything right, and then if everything goes well and we are really lucky, then we come to heaven. This is all childish stories by people who didn't know by themselves. They tried to understand what was Jesus was talking about. They tried to understand what Jesus experienced. But unless you experience it yourself, you don't really understand. So when you do this, don't change yourself. Be the way you are, with all of your feelings, with all of your inabilities, with everything. And meditate. That's all you have to do. And then naturally, with absolute certainty, your soul becomes stronger and stronger in you. Your recognition, wow, that's who I am. This becomes stronger and stronger. This conviction that this life and this body identity, that this is reality, this will disappear slowly, slowly. It's a natural, normal process. No miracle. Nothing fancy, spiritual. It's part of this life. That's why we're here. Yeah. And that's why you experience what you experience right now in your life. Death kissed you. Death woke you up. It's such a gift. That's why you meditate now. Now you're on your way. That's why your husband becomes interested in spiritual things. Now he's open. Death cracked him open. What a gift. What a blessing. I'm so touched. Yeah. Start your second life. Discover who you are. Meditate. It's easy. Be patient. That's all. I know that you cannot, what I say now, you cannot see it like this right now. But sooner than you think, you will be grateful for what happened. You will just look at it and think, wow, what a life. Thank you, God. I know a person who's close to me. Her husband committed suicide. And her whole life changed. They had kids together. It was an amazing earthquake. And not only the death, then in the aftermath of death, just as you experienced, people started blaming her for the death. Just that's what people do when they experience something so dramatic. You know what I'm talking about. It was amazing. And now, many years later, you see the miracle. What's going out of this? It's amazing. People talk about death as if it's a tragedy, as if it's not supposed to happen. Whereas death is the only thing which is actually supposed to happen in this life. And once you know this yourself, you have no problem anymore saying, oh, thank you for this event, thank you. Because you know there's no problem. Also not for your son. And I promise you, sooner than later, you will see it like this too. But until then, feel your feelings. I'm with you. Don't skip over anything. Be where you are. And thank you for your letter. Thank you for your amazing trust. Thank you. Thank you that you're here. I love you.